All good.
There we go. Sounds great. Hey, thank you everybody for joining us online for this meeting. I was a little confused till Jordan cleared me up. We're doing it online because of
Got
the
this audio. Okay.
shortness of, hello? Sorry. Because of the shortness of the meeting and didn't want everybody to have to drive in from everywhere just for a shorter meeting. So that being the case, we'll go ahead and get this meeting started. First thing on the agenda, we have the January 15th meeting minutes. We needed a motion to approve those minutes and or make any adjustments and then for approval. So I'll take a motion on that.
This is Keith at Midvale. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
We have a motion from Midvale.
I'll
We have a
second. This is Castle.
Mr. Castle, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand, wave, or smile.
Aye.
Aye,
Yes.
there we go.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. If there are any opposed? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and enter those in as approved minutes. Forgot to also mention, Jordan, thank you for getting all this stuff out to us. Appreciate getting those things ahead of time. This is great.
No problem. Thank you.
And also to Ben for all the work you put into this. Don't want to leave you out, Ben. Anyway, moving on. What I've been waiting for this whole past week is Matt Castle's going to do a presentation for Riverton City for us. So with that in mind, Matt, I'll turn the time over to you.
I appreciate that. Let's see if I can get this screen shared. Can we all see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about a project we've got going on in Riverton City. It's called the Welby-Jacob Canal Trail Project. Please, there you go. So the outline of what we're going to talk about, I give you a little bit of a description of the project, talk about the project responsibilities. And this project is actually two projects butted up against each other. Talk about the timeline, challenges, and the funding of this project. So let's talk about the project itself or its description of it. The project extends across Riverton City, about 42-43 in the west, where the Welby-Jacob Canal is, from our northern boundary of 118 south to our southern boundary of 138 south. Currently, the multi-use trail that we're developing and designing right now is the Welby-Jacob Canal Maintenance Road as it cuts across the city. So the length of this project is about 2.7 miles. And this is just a little bit of a picture, fuzzy as it may be, showing you kind of how that trail aligns. It's not perfectly straight. It does dip through some neighborhoods, but that's what it's going to look like, hopefully, by the time we get to the end. So the trail crosses five major roads, 118 South, 126 South, 132nd, 134th, and ends at 138 South. So we needed to kind of address each of those crossings. We have blinking lights anticipated for the 118th and 138th South crossings. And we are anticipating to use hawk signals for 126th and 132nd South crossing. Those are a little bit larger roads, a lot more traffic on both of those roads. And then our big bang for our buck is that we're putting a pedestrian bridge across 134th South. So project responsibility is there's two teams working on this right now. Internally, the city itself is designing and actually has out to bid the segment from 118th South to 132nd South. UDOT, through the Utah Trail Networks, with an award from Utah Trail Networks, is working on the segment from 132nd South to 138th, which is the more complex section and also has the pedestrian bridge. Just to give you a sense of the complexity of crossing 134 South, this is a rendering we did as we put together a preliminary design report to get a feeling of whether it would fit, where it would fit, and how it would interact with the adjacent property owners. And this is kind of the direction we are trying to work toward. So there it is. Project timeline. The city actually about half a year ago, before we got the Utah Trail Network funds for the bridge crossing, had a preliminary design report completed, pretty much getting us to 30%, kind of analyzing everything we needed to know to make this happen, short of funding for the project. With UTN funds and other funding, the city has taken over the segment from 118th to 132nd South. We are in design, but we do have a segment of that out to bid currently. So we are moving forward with that part of our project. 132nd to 138th, I had mentioned, we did a preliminary design report that was done, completed March 24. We are just about ready to start on the design of the UDOT/UTN segment. We're anticipating design to be completed this fall, and hopefully construction will start next summer. Summer 26, not this coming summer. Challenges. There are a few, there are none that we can't get ourselves over, but the UTN standards haven't been developed yet. So it's been a back and forth as what that may look like. And though this may or may not become a part of the UTN network, it still needs to meet their guidelines, but they're in the process of creating them. So it's kind of a give and take, trying to figure out what this might look like and what standards can we meet currently. UDOT's methodology and standards, they do a great job building roads. I'm going to say maybe not to that level when it comes to trails and stuff. So some of the things that they anticipate us doing process-wise aren't necessarily meant for trails, but we're trying to work through those issues so that we get a project and a completed project that is something that everybody wants. Now, one of the things that has been a challenge on this project is as UDOT has come in to separate 134 South from Bangerter, there was an existing pedestrian bridge, and working over a long period of time with UDOT, we took that bridge. UDOT took it down about a year ago, maybe half a year ago, and moved it adjacent to where we anticipated it going to be installed. So that bridge is sitting out there. The first step of our design process with UDOT is to analyze that current bridge. We did that while it was still in place, and it is actually in really good shape. But that doesn't get the UDOT bridge folks over that hump about using a used bridge. So we're working through that. And like I said, that's one of the first steps is in design is to evaluate the reuse of that existing bridge versus bringing in a brand new bridge. We'll get through that. Future challenges. I had noted previously that we were looking to put a hawk signal across 126 South. That is somewhat of a short-term solution for that. 126 will be transferred to the state here probably in the next couple of years. With that, state does anticipate widening it to 7 lanes from its current 5 lanes. 7 lanes is, in our opinion, too long of a crossing for just a hawk signal or for any other. It does need to be a grade separated crossing. And so that's one of our future challenges, figure out what that might look like and how might we find funding to make that crossing happen. And then anytime you do a trail, we're somewhat ready for the neighbors that are abutting up to the trail to have new folks walking behind their house and the pushback that we kind of anticipate to have. Funding for this project, we've been scrounging up the funds for this project. We have two funds from the county, fourth quarter funds. $2 million for each award, and we have a one-time appropriation from last year, which was a little over $1 million. The UTN brought us another $4 million, so we have a little over $9 million set aside for this project currently. All these funds are state and local funds. You'll notice, even though we're have a meeting talking about WFRC issues and transportation improvement program issues. None of those programs are currently anticipated to be used on this project. Now, that's a positive, I think, because this project was awarded 1.3 in 2021, and it was going to come to the city for the Welby Jacob Trail in 2028. the city will be formally relinquishing those funds back to the CMAQ pot of money so that TAC can reallocate that to someone that needs those. So that's kind of how I was trying to connect this project with the projects that we discussed with the TAC. So that's it for my presentation. Any questions?
I got one. Matt, can I ask?
You can't have one. I was just being, yes,
You were
sir.
just being polite?
Yes,
You know, I'll see you here in about another year. We'll have to have that chat, right?
yes, we will.
Hey, got a question. Is that channel open or closed?
Open.
And is this part of the, I mean, how did you get Welby Jacob to agree to a trail along an open canal? Is this
What?
part of the new state law code or whatever that kind of makes it easier?
No, we worked through an agreement with them. We're lucky we weren't the first ones to do it. It is an open, South Jordan has developed their Welby Jacob Canal section, so it's an open channel and they've got their trail along it. We're actually at 118 South. We'll connect it to. But it is not we are not capping, closing, piping the canal itself. It's an open canal and the canal company was open to the idea and make an agreement to make it happen.
Okay.
Don't swim in the water.
Well, that's awesome. Any other questions for Mr. Castle out there? Well, you must have
Silence is golden.
Look at that. You must have answered everybody's questions. You're my hero, man.
Yeah.
Always. Hey, item number 3, we're going to turn some time over to Mr. Wuthrich for the Transportation Improvement Program, information on these TAC projects. So, Mr. Wuthrich.
Perfect, thank you. So let me start off here by all of you, and Jordan, if you'll put that table in the chat. So as you're aware, today is our roadshow, we call it. Years ago, we used to just have a list of the projects. We would hand that information out to the TACs, and from that list, the TAC was supposed to determine where the best priority or what project would bring us the best benefit for the amount of funds that we had available. Since that time, we've developed where we have slides of all of the projects to introduce the Technical Advisory Committee to the projects, and hence that's our roadshow. Today, it's our intention to go through all of the projects in a fairly quick manner to introduce these projects to you so you're a little more familiar with them. We'll go program by program, and then these slides will be available on our webpage for you to review at your leisure. In preparation for our March meeting, where we will meet as a Technical Advisory Committee and make recommendations to TransCom and to the Regional Council as to what projects would be recommended to move forward in the draft programs. So you should all have access now to the tables. These tables are sorted first by funding type. You can see the funding type here on the 5th column from the left. And we go through the CMAQ programs. Then we've got the CRP program or carbon reduction program. After the carbon reduction program, we've got the SDP projects. And then at the tail end, we've got the TAP projects. So all of these projects will go through in the programs. The information's available to you. We're not going to go into a lot of detail on this, but if there are questions, we'll pause moving between programs and answer a few brief comments if there are. But if it's all right, Mr. Chair, I'm just going to start right into then and bring up the CMAQ program and begin the presentation. Is that good?
That sounds great to me. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yes.
Before you get started, there's that final column on this spreadsheet that we're looking at that is that says project priority. Can you remind me whose project? What is that? Whose project priority is that?
So when the sponsor submits their project evaluation concept report form,
Yep.
they include on that form the priority of the projects that they've submitted. Some cities will submit 2 or 3 or more projects, and so we just ask for information
I see.
out of the projects being submitted, what's the priority, and sometimes that changes. And we've had some change while we were out with field reviews. And in fact, I should have started back with, I thought I connected it to my, I'm gonna go here to the.
So that's the
start-
project priority of the project sponsor.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes. You're
I
welcome.
wanted to
These,
just,
go ahead.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Becca. Okay, so as you recall then, back in September, there was a request for letters of intent. Those letters of intent were due in October, and then from those eligible projects, we encouraged the sponsor to prepare a project evaluation concept report. Those were due in the early part of December, and then we began our evaluation process. And the significant part of the evaluation process takes place during the months of January, February, and March. So we're kind of right in the middle of that evaluation. Not only is the solicitation for the data, the review and calculations through the data, but part of that evaluation process includes field review, and we were able to complete the Salt Lake field reviews. The week before last, we got half of them done, and then we got some much needed snow and moisture, and earlier this week, we were able to complete the remaining projects in the Salt Lake area. But as we review these projects today, I hope you take opportunity to think about what the needs are across the valley. We've got a significant need, and we've got amazing good projects, but we don't have a significant amount of money towards that. You can see this year we had 87 projects submitted in the Ogden or in the Salt Lake urban area. That's about 33 more than what we had last year. Those total of the estimated cost for those 87 projects totals more than 823 million. That's the project cost. Of the projects submitted, 32 of them were STP requests, requesting more than $174 million. We have about 20 million available. Now the amounts available are still draft. As we get closer to March, when we come in to with the staff recommendation to the Technical Advisory Committee, we'll have the numbers needled down a little tighter, as you can, like today with Matt's presentation, by the way. You did a great job on the presentation there. And he brought to the point that there may be 1.3 million coming back to the program. So in the CMAQ, that 5.5 million does not reflect that amount of money. But we did have 19 requests for the CMAQ program, totaling more than $52 million. In the TAP or Transportation Alternative Program, there were 16 requests, requesting more than $25 million. And in the Carbon Reduction Program, there were 20 requests, totaling more than $51 million, where we have an available 2.4. So you can see there's a significant ask, there's a significant need, and so hence the responsibility of the Technical Advisory Committee is to try to identify the projects where we'll get the biggest bang for the buck. So having said that, now we're going to start into the projects, and I'll go through the CMAQ, and then we'll pause if there's any questions. Is that all right? Perfect. So the first request is a project in Cottonwood Heights. This is on 2300 East. This is a sidewalk connection between Fort Union Boulevard and 6400 South, about 7/10 of a mile. It'll reconstruct on the west side of 2300 East. Project estimated cost is 1.9 plus million. The funds being requested is 1.7 plus million. The next project is a project also in Cottonwood Heights. This is on the Bengal Boulevard. This is to construct a pedestrian trail between 2600 East to Pamela Drive, a little more than a third of a mile in length. This project is estimated to cost 4.8 plus million. The funds being requested are 4.4 plus million dollars. Next request is from UTA. This is for the Davis Salt Lake connector. This is for operations. This connector will run from the Farmington station in Davis County to Salt Lake and up to the University of Utah Research Park, roughly about 26 miles in length. This is on the operations side of things, they are requesting $5 million. Total estimated cost is 24.8 million, and that 5 million is over a 3-year period, so it'd be about 1.66 million per year. Next request is in Harriman. This is to construct a park and ride facility out near the Port of Rockwell Boulevard and the Rockwell Park Drive. The estimated cost on this is $3+ million. Funds being requested is 2.7+ million, and it's to construct about a 60 parking space park and ride facility. The next project is a project in Holiday. This is on I-215 shared use path. It's not on I-215. It runs along the sound wall there between 20th East and 2300 East, about a half mile in length. Project estimated cost is 3.3+ million. Funds being requested are 3.1+ million. The next project is a request from the Department of Transportation. This is to construct an additional ramp. It's to widen the ramp for an additional lane on the 7200 South northbound on-ramp. The estimated project cost for this is a little more than $7 million, and the funds being requested is 3.5 million. The next project is a request from Salt Lake City. This is an intersection improvement here at Highland High. There's currently a signalized intersection there with a separated right turn lane on the northbound. This is to construct a roundabout in this facility. Estimated cost is 1.1+ million. Funds being requested is a little more than $1 million. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is on I-215 and 700 North. This is to add ramp meters to the 700 North ramp. On the southbound section, this will also widen the ramp and increase a lane in anticipation of the additional traffic that'll be necessary when the I-15 project begins. Estimated project cost is 3.3+ million, and they're requesting 1 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is for the Salt Lake Central Transit Improvements. This is a parking garage and park and ride facility at the UTA station there at 2nd South and 600 West. This particular project is estimated to cost $55 million, and the funds being requested is $10 million. The next project is also a request from UTA. This is on the 5600 West bus route. This is for operating cost. This particular project is, the operating cost is estimated at $31+ million. Funds being requested are $5 million, and this is also over a 3-year period. The next project is a request from Sandy City. It's an intersection project on 114 South and 1300 East. This project will improve the turning lanes, the detection, as well as the signal adjustments. The project estimated cost is 5.3+ million. The funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. Next project is also a request from Sandy City. This is on 7th East Size Road, which is about 8800 South. This particular project will finish the east leg of the intersection and install the signals. Project estimated cost is 3.7+ million, and the funding request is 3.1+ million. The next project is a request from South Jordan. This is on the Shields Lane. This is to create or construct a multi-use path. This is phase 1 between Bangerter Highway and 3200 West. What this will do is include a 12 to 14 foot multi-use path on the south side of the road. So the road alignment will be realigned, and the striping with the inclusion of the improvements to the multi-use path. 4.5+ million is the estimated project cost. The request is for just under $4 million. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake. This is for mobility improvements along 300 West between 2100 South and Andy Avenue, about 2/10 of a mile. This is to construct a high comfort bike facility. Estimated project cost is 1.2+ million. Funds being requested are 1.1+ million. The next project is also a request from South Salt Lake for mobility improvements. This is at Central Point Place between Main Street to State Street, about 1/10 of a mile in length. This project will construct improvement of the Parley's Trail between State Street and Main Street. Estimated cost is $39,000. Funds being requested are $36,000+. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake. Again, a mobility improvement project. This is Central Point Station East. The intent of this is to be able to construct a trail that'll reach the Central Point track station from the east side. Project estimated cost is $43,000. Funds being requested are a little more than $40,000. The next project is again a request from South Salt Lake. This is also mobility improvements on the Central Point Station West. The intent of this is to construct a trail that'll reach the Central Point track station from the west side. Estimated project cost is $46,000. Funds being requested a little more than $42,000. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake, the mobility improvements along Haven. This is between 300 West to West Temple, about 1/10 of a mile, to construct missing sidewalk. This estimated cost is $476,000. Funds being requested are $443,000+. The next request is a request from UTA. This is for the van pool expansion. On the vans, the intent is to purchase 10 new vans for the van pool program. Estimated project cost is $450,000. Funds being requested is $419,000+. That is all of the CMAQ projects being requested. Any questions? Okay, we'll move into the CRP program. Am I going too fast? Am I going all right?
Perfect. For me, anyway.
Okay, thank you. So, highlighting this, let me switch the displays here. Again, highlighting the table here, this is the CRP program we're going to review. There's 20 projects that were submitted. The total request is more than $51 million. And the first project we have to review is the Davis Salt Lake Connectors. We saw with the CMAQ funds, this is for operations spread over a 3-year period. Project cost is 24+ million. The funds being requested is 5 million. Over 3 years, about 1.66+ million. Next project is a request from Holiday City on the I-215 shared use active transportation path between 2000 East and 2300 East, about a half a mile in length. Project estimated cost is 3.3+ million. Funds being requested is 3.1+ million. The next project is a request from UDOT. This is on I-15 7200 South northbound on-ramp. It's to widen the on-ramp for an additional lane. This project's estimated to cost a little more than $7 million, and the funds being requested is $3.5 million. The next project is a request from Riverton City. And this is for the installation of electric vehicle charging stations at the Riverton City Public Works Building. Estimated project cost is $496,000. Funds being requested are $450,000. The next project being requested is Salt Lake City. This is a carbon reductions along the Salt Lake City's 9-line trail project between 6 West and 500 East, about 1.6+ miles. What this project will do is add landscaping along the corridor there to provide shade and encourage trail use. Project estimated cost is $636,000. Funds being requested are $592,000. The next project requesting is a request from UDOT. This is on I-215 and 700 North on-ramp. This is the southbound ramp. This is that, well, both ramps to add ramp meters, but to widen the southbound ramp for an additional lane. This particular project is estimated 3.3+ million. Funds being requested are 1 million. The next request is from UTA. This is the Salt Lake Central Transit Improvement for parking garage and park and ride facilities. Estimated project cost is 55 million. Funds being requested are 10 million.
Ben,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt. Is that a repeat of one CMAQ funded project?
they are. There's a lot of the CMAQ and the carbon reduction programs that'll be the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next request is for operating cost on the 5600 West bus route. This is for a 3-year, $5 million total, so about 1.66 million per year. The next request is an intersection project in Sandy. This is on 114th South and 1300 East. This project will address the turning movements and align the intersection. Estimated project cost is 5.3+ million. Funds being requested are slightly more than 5 million. Next project is also an intersection project in Sandy. This is 7th East Sides Road, which is about 8800 South. This will complete the east leg of the intersection. Estimated and install a signal. Estimated project cost is 3.7+ million. Funds being requested are 3.1+ million. Next project is a request from South Jordan. This is on the Shields Lane. This is to construct a multi-use path, do roadway realignment, and the estimated project cost is 4.5+ million. Funds being requested are just under $4 million. Next project is I apologize. It's a Cottonwood Heights project on 2300 East. This is to construct A bike path, a 6-foot sidewalk, and let me start all over on this one. This is on 2300 East between Fort Union Boulevard and 6400 South. It's to construct missing sidewalk and address missing curb gutter. This is estimated to cost 1.9 plus million. The funds being requested are 1.7 plus million. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake on mobility improvements along 300 West between 2100 South to Andy Avenue for a high comfort bike facility. Estimated project cost 1.2 plus million. Funds being requested are 1.1 plus million. Next project also in South Salt Lake. Mobility improvements there is Central Point Place between Main Street and State Street to give a uniform cross section and active transportation improvements. Estimated project cost is $39,000. Funds being requested are $36 plus thousand. Next project is also in South Salt Lake. This is Central Point Station East. This is to improve access or provide access to the Central Point track station from the east side. Project estimated cost is $43,000. Funds being requested are a little more than $40,000. Next project is the Central Point Station West in South Salt Lake. This is to provide access to the Point track station from the west. Estimated project cost is $46,000. Funds being requested are just under $43,000. Next project is mobility improvements along Haven. This is in South Salt Lake between 300 West and West Temple, about 1/10 of a mile in distance. This is to provide sidewalk and missing active transportation components where missing. Estimated cost is $476,000. Funds being requested is $443,000 plus. The next request is from UTA. This is for van pool expansion vans in Salt Lake County. This is to purchase 10 new vans for the fleet. Project cost is estimated at $450,000. Funds being requested a little more than $419,000 plus. Next project is a request from West Valley City. This is 2200 West. This is for bike lanes between 4100 South and 3800 South. This project is estimated to cost 4.3 plus million. Funds being requested are 2.9 plus million. The last project in the carbon reduction request is from West Valley on 4800 West. This is for bike lanes between 3500 South and 3100 South. This is estimated to cost a little more than $6 million, and the funds being requested are 3.8 plus million. That's all the projects in the carbon reduction program. Any questions?
None from me.
Okay, we'll move into the STP program then. So in the STP program, we had 32 projects submitted for review, totaling more than 174 million in requests for an estimated amount available of $20 million. Our first project is a request from Cottonwood Heights. This is on 2300 East. This is for sidewalk connection between Fort Union Boulevard and 6400 South, about 7/10 of a mile. This project is estimated at 1.9 plus million. Funds being requested are 1.7 plus million. Next project is in Cottonwood Heights. This is on Bengal Boulevard. This is a pedestrian trail between 2600 East to Pamela Drive, little more than 3/10 of a mile, to replace a deep gutter system there on the north side. Estimated project cost is 4.8 plus million. Funds being requested are 4.4 plus million. The next project is the Cottonwood Heights request on Highland Drive. This is to widen Highland Drive there at the intersection and to provide an additional lane as well as improvements for the bike ped facilities. This is on 7101 South to 6990 South, 2/10 of a mile there. Estimated project cost is 3.8 plus million. Funds being requested are 3.5 plus million. The next project is a request from Draper. This is a request on Fort Street to reconstruct with some minor widening for a uniform cross section between 132 South and 138 South, about 8/10 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 9.5 plus million. Funds being requested are 8.7 plus million. In addition to the reconstruction of the road, it will provide curb gutter and sidewalks on both sides. The next project is a request from Draper. This is on Lone Peak Parkway. This is additional funds for a project to reconstruct with minor widening there between 123rd South and 12650 South to realign the facility uniform cross section with curb gutter and sidewalks. Estimated project cost is 13 plus million. Funds being requested are 4.3 plus million. Next project is a request from Immigration. This is for slope mitigation at about 4909 East. This project is estimated to cost a little more than $4 million, and the funds being requested are 3.7 plus million. This is to mitigate the slope to keep debris from falling down on the road for not only the vehicles, but also the bikes and ped users in the canyon. Next project is a request from Harriman City. This is on 126 South and Main Street. It's an intersection improvement. It's to address the turning movements and widen and improve the intersection. Estimated project cost is 4.1 plus million. Funds being requested are 3.2 plus million. The next project is a request from Harriman City. This is to construct a facility or a bridge over 6600 West from 6622 South to 6612 South, about 1/10 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 5.6 plus million. Funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. Next project is a request from Holiday City. This is on the Highland Drive. This is to reconstruct this facility between Arbor Lane to Van Winkle Expressway. This project will do a complete reconstruction, and it'll also address any safety concerns. Project estimated cost is 15 plus million. Funds being requested are $5 million. The next project is a request from Kearns on 4270 West and Misty Way. This is a reconstruction project between 5400 South to Home Run Drive, just under 1/2 a mile in length. Estimated project cost is a little more than $4 million, with the funds being requested at 3.7 plus million. Next project is the implementation and phasing of the TRACS modernization project. This project is estimated to cost $11 million, and the request is for $4 million. It's to improve the passenger accessibility and the passenger customer experience, address the rideshare demands, as well as providing reliability in the service. Next request is from UDOT. This is to address the 7200 South northbound on-ramp. This will widen the on-ramp with an additional lane to remove or eliminate the weaving as cars enter onto the ramp. This is estimated at $7+ million, with the funds being requested $3.5 million. The next project is a request from Mill Creek City. This is on 1300 East. This will reconstruct this facility, addressing curb gutter sidewalk cross section as well as storm drain. And there's a culvert that needs to be addressed. This is between 3300 South and E. Lorraine Drive, just under a half mile in length. Estimated project cost is $8.4+ million. And request is for $4.2+ million. The next project is also a request from Mill Creek City. This on Highland Drive. This is for reconstruction from the city boundary to 3300 South. This project's estimated to cost $7.2+ million. Funds being requested are $6.7 million. The improvements on this will include bike lanes, sidewalks, curb and gutters, as well as the roadway improvements. Next project is a request from Murray City. This is a project on 6400 South to reconstruct between 1300 East and Highland Drive, a little more than a mile in length. This project will also construct sidewalk, curb and gutter with buffered bike lanes along both sides of the road. Estimated project cost $9.8+ million. Funds being requested are $9.1+ million. Next project is a request in Riverton. This is 1300 West. This is a reconstruct with minor widening to establish a uniform cross section with curb gutter and sidewalk, as well as bike lanes between 131 South and 137 South, about 3/4 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is $9.7+ million. Funds being requested are $7.1+ million. Next project is also a request from Riverton. This is on 138 South. This is to construct this facility between 36 West and 4000 West as a complete street improvement, including bike lanes in both directions, as well as addressing the curb gutter and sidewalks. This is estimated to cost of $4.9+ million. Funds being requested are $4.6+ million. Next project is a request from UDOT. This is to address the northbound lane on I-215. This to add ramp meters as well as widen the facility. This project's estimated to cost $3.3+ million. Funds being requested are $1 million. The next project is improvements to the Salt Lake Central Transit. This is for the parking garage, the bus pickup, as well as park and ride facility there, their main headquarters. This project's estimated to cost $55 million. Funds being requested are $10 million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is for light rail vehicle replacements. This will replace the 20 high-floor light rail vehicles with level boarding vehicles. Estimated project cost is $146 million, and they're requesting $10 million. Next project is a request from Salt Lake City. This is on Wacara Way. This is to reconstruct this facility. This project is estimated to cost a little more than $5 million. The funds being requested are $4.7 million. The next project is a request from Sandy City. This is an intersection project on 114th South and 1300 East to address the turning movement, as well as improvements to the intersection with site visits. Project estimated cost is 5.3 plus million. Funds being requested are a little more than 5 million. The next project is a project request from Sandy City. This is for the Monroe Phase 3. This is new construction between the Mall Ring Road to 106 South. This project is estimated to cost $29+ million. Funds being requested are $4 million. The next project is a request from South Jordan. This is a Shields Lane multi-use path. This is Phase 1 between Bangor Highway to 3200 West by creating a 12 to 14 foot multi-use path and by realigning the lanes of the facility. Estimated project cost 4.5+ million. Funds being requested are 3.9+ million. The next project is a request from South Jordan on Prosperity Road. This is Phase 1. This is for new construction. This would run between Crimson View Drive to Bingham Rim Road, little more than a half mile in length. Estimated project cost is 11.6 million. Funds being requested are 10.8+ million. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake. This is for reconstruction of 300 West between 3300 South and 3900 South. This project is a mile in length. It is estimated to cost 17.4+ million. Funds being requested are 16.2+ million. The next project is a request from Taylorsville. This is on 3900 South between Redwood Road and Jordan River. This is to reconstruct 3900 South as well as include bike ped facilities on both sides of the road. Estimated project cost is 13.6+ million. Funds being requested 7.4+ million. The next project is a request from UTA. This is to replace their existing radio system, which is worn out, no longer works. Estimated project cost is $24 million. Funds being requested are $2 million. Next project is a request from West Jordan. This is along 1300 West to reconstruct with minor widening. This is Phase 3 between 6600 South to 7800 South, about just under 1.5 miles in length. Project estimated cost is 20.6+ million. Funds being requested are 3 million. Next project is a request in West Valley City. This is 1300 West bike lane improvements between 4000 South to 3300 South. This is for some reconstruction, but to create a uniform cross section. This project is estimated to cost 11.2+ million. And the funds being requested are a little more than 7 million. The next project is a request from West Valley City. This is on 7200 West. This is to reconstruct with minor widening to create a uniform cross section, address curb gutter and sidewalk between 4100 South and 3900 South. This project is estimated to cost 6.5+ million. Funds being requested are 4.2+ million. And the last SDP project being requested is a project in White City. This is on Poppy Lane. This is to construct a missing sidewalk along the facility between Emerald Drive to Galena Drive, about 0.3 of a mile. Estimated project cost is 1.3+ million. Funds being requested are 1.2+ million. That's a lot of SDP projects. Any questions? Is everyone still awake?
We're still with you, Ben.
All right, one more. We'll go through. These are the Transportation Alternative Program, or the TAP program. So on the TAP program, we had 16 projects submitted for evaluation and consideration, totaling more than 25 million in the request. The first project we have to look at is a project in Compwood Heights. This is a project on 2300 East. This is for sidewalk connection between Fort Union Boulevard and 6400 South, about 7/10 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 1.6 plus million. Funds being requested are 1.5 plus million. Next project is also in Compwood Heights. This is on Bengal Boulevard, pedestrian trail. This goes between 2600 East to Pamela Drive. This will construct curb gutter and sidewalk. Estimated project cost is 4.2 million. Funds being requested are 3.9 plus million. Next project is in Compwood Heights. This is for the installation and construction of a hawk on Fort Union Boulevard at 1600 East. This project cost estimate is 520,000. Funds being requested are 484,000. Next project is a request from Kearns. This is the power line corridor, which is approximately 5670 west. This is for a bike ped facility between 5400 south and 6200 south, about a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 2.8 plus million. Funds being requested are 2.6 plus million. Next project is a request in Magna. This is on 3100 South. This is to construct missing sidewalks. It's a safe route to school request between 7200 West and 7270 West. Almost 1/10 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 520 plus thousand. Funds being requested are 485,000 plus. Next request is from Salt Lake City for Green Bike. This is for capital care. This will replace old worn out stations and old worn out bikes and replace them with new electrical bikes as well as new stations. Project estimated cost is 850,000. Funds being requested is 792,000 plus. Next project is a request from South Jordan. This is the Shields Lane multi-use path, phase 1 between Bangor Highway and 3200 West, about a half mile in length, to construct a 12 to 14 foot multi-use path along the south side of the road. Estimated to cost 3.3 plus million. Funds being requested 2.7 plus million. Next request is from South Salt Lake. This is mobility improvements along 300 West between 2100 South to Andy Avenue, 2/10 of a mile in length for a safe bike facility. This is estimated at 1.1 plus million, and the funds being requested are a little more than $1 million. The next project is also in South Salt Lake on the Central Point Place. It's between Main Street and State Street, about 1/10 of a mile in length for active transportation improvements. Estimated cost $34,000. Funds being requested a little more than 31,000. Next request is also in South Salt Lake. This is on the Central Point East Station. This to improve access to the Point Track Station from the east. Currently doesn't exist. Estimated project cost $37,000. Funds being requested 34,000 plus. The next project is from South Salt Lake from the Central Point Station West to improve access to the Central Point Track Station from the west. Estimated to cost $40,000. Funds being requested are a little more than 37,000 plus. The next project is a request from South Salt Lake. This is on Haven between 300 West and West Temple to address missing sidewalk and missing active transportation components. This project's estimated to cost $415,000. Funds being requested are $386,000 plus. The next project is a request from Taylorsville City on 3900 South. This is for bike ped facilities in conjunction with the reconstruction of the facility between Redwood Road and the Jordan River, about 1 mile in length. Estimated project cost 11.8 plus million. Funds being requested 5.7 plus million. Next project is a request from Murray City. This is on 5400 South. This is to construct missing sidewalks between Canal Street to Walden Glen Drive. A little more than 1/10 of a mile. Estimated project cost 548,000. Funds being requested are 200,000. Next project is a request from West Valley City on 1300 West. This is for a uniform cross section between 4000 South, 3300 South, a little more than 1 mile in length. Estimated project cost is a little more than 9 million. The funds being requested are just under 5 million. The next project is a request from White City. This is on Emerald Drive. This is to construct missing sidewalk between Garnett Drive and Poppy Lane. A little more than 1/10 of a mile in length. Estimated project cost is 615,000 plus, and the funds being requested are 573,000 plus. So that's the last TAP project. You can see there's a lot of projects, and we have a lot of responsibility to be able to identify those projects that will be able to best utilize the limited amount of funds that we have. That's why the March meeting is so important, that you come to participate. Staff will come prepared with a recommendation for the Technical Advisory Committee to review and make recommendations to TransCom, and TransCom to review and make recommendations to the Regional Council. Mr. Chair, this is all that I have. Are there any questions?
Okay, it looks like you have your hand raised. Do you want to ask your question?
Yes, thank you. The question I have then is, it seems like there's a number of projects that were in multiple categories, and I wonder in your tally of how much was asked for versus how much is available, are the projects that asked in multiple programs represented multiple times, or
They are.
like, okay, so the actual total ask across all programs is not that high, because unless, right? So, okay, so I'm wondering, is there a way to get a sense of how much has been asked for in total, or are some of those asks like for, you know, it's $3 million and it asked $1 million from one program, $1 million from another program, and $1 million other program? You know, what's the best way to understand what's been asked for in total compared to what's available in total?
Well, those are some good points, Becca, but the problem that you run into is those projects are eligible in the programs that they've requested. And to be able to push one program or one project to one program versus another, we could really overload on one program and make it look a lot worse. So the biggest thing, or the biggest takeaway, is not the amount of dollars that are being requested, but what's the best project for the limited dollars we have to program. Doesn't matter if a project is requesting from all 4 programs. If he's a good project, we'll identify the program that'll best address those funds that are needed. If he's not the higher project priority, then it.
Sure. So, and I've always just trusted you to move my application from one to another if that's been just apply for programs once, you know, like our STP ask could potentially include some ped bike because it's a construction project, but the real focus of it is making first last mile connections to a new. So one thing the available.
Sorry, Becky, you broke up. I missed a lot of that last part that you said.
sorry, you mentioned it on still. I'm wondering total, like the total request, and not count a project twice as total available.
Yeah, I guess the easiest way is I just add up the four amounts and then add up all the projects, and we can say we've got X amount requested against X amount available. Might be, if you want to know just the two numbers, but to say what one project will measure in one program and not in another is, that would be pretty tricky and time consuming. That doesn't bring us much benefit.
Okay. As an applicant, I just like to know if I'm asking for and percentage of funds unreasonably asked for. It's
Becca, you're breaking up. Can anybody else hear Becca? She's breaking up on me.
I cannot, and I apologize, Becca, that I can't hear you well enough to maybe give you a good answer.
I'll
Can
put
you
it in the chat.
Perfect, thank you.
You know, Ben, John Miller, Mill Creek, one of the interesting things on that TAP, I was just kind of going through the exercise, kind of like Becca was talking about there. But it seems like about the TAP funding of 2 million will provide for about 1 mile of sidewalk or multi-use path. And if the available funding is only 2 million, that's not a lot of infrastructure going down.
That's correct. There's a lot of needs. However, you know, in more now than ever before, there are more resources available. And so to be able to seed with different fundings, to be able to move projects through where we're able to accomplish a lot more with the programs, tends to be a lot more successful than what it's been in the past.
Ben, regarding what's available and what's being requested, in that bar chart you shared at the beginning, the available amounts are fixed. We're considering multiple projects in different funding areas, so we can maximize the flexibility of funding as many projects as possible. It's rare that we'll fund the same project under two different sources. I mean, someone's not getting additional advantage by applying in multiple funding sources, but we do get more flexibility in dispersing those funds.
I think I know what Beck is getting at. I was just chatting with her. So if there's a $20 million project or request for $20 million, and it's shown in all four categories on that chart, it looks like we have $80 million project.
80 million in request, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it would look.
Yeah, but that's not true.
Yeah.
So if we could look at the total amount of requests, so the projects are only represented one time versus the total amount, what is it, $30 million total for all four? I think that will be a little more realistic.
Good point.
And I think this is Wayne. Sorry, I can't find my raise hand button. This is Wayne Benyon with WFRC. It's a fair request, a fair question. I think we can come up with a total requested amount and a total project cost amount that does not include double counting, or that does not have double counting. I don't know how much, I think it's more a message thing than a project recommendation point for the technical advisory committees, but it's a fair message point. So thank you for raising that.
We
So
can
are there
send that
any
out
other-
with the meeting minutes. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
No, go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
No, what we'll just send out a summary of adding up all the projects once and then the funds available once, and we'll include that in the meeting materials that go out for the summaries.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good, Ben. We appreciate it. Is there any
Thank
other
you.
questions for Ben or his staff right now? And Becca, I'm not sure what was going on with your phone, but a lot of your conversation, at least 75%, seemed to blotted itself out. So, anyhow, if there are no other questions, Ben, I've got on the, are we ready to move on here?
Yes, sir.
You've discussed the March meeting discussion, how important that's going to be. And that will be in person, I'm guessing, there at the council, Wasatch Front. Okay.
Correct. There will be a hybrid if no other way is possible to come, but it is important that you're there.
Yeah,
if you can be in person.
I would encourage everyone to be there if you can. It is good to have that face-to-face interaction and get better understanding. So I do encourage that. So that being said, that's the end of our meeting. Our next,
I don't
Yeah.
encourage a lot of people coming because we've got to provide snacks for that meeting.
well, that's what I was just getting at. Are you making these yourself or are these going to be store-bought?
I'll be up cooking all night.
You're my hero, man. I appreciate it. But Riverton City has the refreshments, and I don't know who has the spotlight next time, Ben. Are we not having a spotlight because of the time?
Yeah, we do not. We will have 3 presentations, one from the department, the region, as well as, I guess, 2 and 1 from the county
Okay.
on their program. But
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate everyone's time and everyone coming out. We'll go ahead and end this thing with a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Now I'll make a motion. This is Castle.
Motion Riverton City. Do we have a second?
I'll second. Chris Northam, Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City. I appreciate that, Chris. Motion to adjourn's on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody want to stay out and talk to Matt a little longer? You can vote nay and stay with him, but I'm leaving. So appreciate all your time. Thank you. We will
Thank you.
see you folks next month.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone. Great
everybody.
job, Ben.
thank you all.
Mhm.